live? If I'm live, am I live? Give me a 5-5. I hope so. Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. Give me a 5-5, please. Let me check. Looks like I'm live. Somebody can tell me if I'm live. Yes, thank you, Yolanda. Live on DLive, live on Twitch, and live on YouTube, I hope. Yes, looks like it. So, hello, everybody. Good to see you. Let me see if I can get the chat from YouTube there. Okay, anyway, I'm live. That's good. Good to know. Let me check the chat. Hello, everybody. Hello, Brooklyn. Hello, Wanderlust Kate and Bill Hammer. Sulbak, good to see you, Tessa. Kevin, Yolanda, I'm so happy you're all here. And I was trying to actually see if I could see the stream from YouTube just to check. But let me do. Oh man, I need to put in if I can. Okay, there. So today we're going to talk about meditation. And let me get the chat from YouTube out because I just like to see that as well. Right now. Okay, so we're going to talk about meditation today, and I hope everybody is ready for it. For those that actually have no, hey, baby Yoda, good to see you. So for those that are just beginning, I want to, break it down, as I see a lot of people that actually have no clue about meditation. And some of you do, obviously. So today I want to talk about that, as I had some requests for it. Hi, Scott Robinson. Good to see you too. And let me see if how many people are in at the moment. Chef Matt, good to see you too. So yeah, today I want to talk about that, and I'm going to. I don't have a guest today, but I will on soon. I'm not going to actually say when and who, because actually I don't have anybody yet for Thursday planned. So hey Patricia, good to see you too. And I want to talk about meditation, because many people think that meditation is some mysterious thing where you have to sit in a lotus position and do all sort of things that you don't need to do. But first of all, I want to just explain what meditation exactly is for those that don't know. I do see some people in there that obviously do know. Hi, Rainbow Snuggle Fritz. Good to see you too. And yeah, what is meditation? Meditation literally is being present, being in the now, and being aware. So why should we start meditating? And this is a very important one, because everybody says, I never have time for meditation. If you not have time for meditation, that's exactly the moment you have to meditate. That would be the best. Hey Tia, good to see you, my Dutch friend. And for the love of God, good to see you too. So You all might recognize those moments that you lose your keys and that you can't remember a name from somebody, or I don't know, anything really, or that your day just passed by and you can't actually remember what you did the whole day, although you did work and all that, but you have to dig in your memory, right? And why is that? It's because nobody really lives in the now, in this moment, in the moment when you do, like now, me speaking here to you is where I'm in the moment. Obviously, my brain has to, you know, check the chat and all that. So my brain is occupied, but I'm not thinking in the sense like I'm having all these thoughts that just pass by, like the clouds would pass by. So, should we start meditating? Well, um, first of all, because if we don't, well, no, let's say that differently. If we don't, right, we're not paying attention to our surroundings. We're not paying attention to other people or signals that happened around us. This is how accidents usually happen. We're not paying attention to our thoughts, very important one. And we're not being present, and we don't remember stuff. So we need to start using all our senses when we're in the now. Um, so in order to be in the now, you usually, when we do things, we are constantly thinking. We're in our minds. It doesn't matter where we go, what we're doing, where we are. We usually are in our brains, and we are not our thoughts, nor are we our feelings. You know, and yet we are occupied most of the day with exactly that. So meditation is making sure that you are not being your thoughts and not being your feelings, but what you're doing is that you start to observe whatever is in your mind, whatever your thoughts are. And hang on, because I have a leaky nose. I'm so sorry. I have a cold. So meditation you can do all day long with everything that you do. So you do not have to make time for meditation, really. When you start and you want to start practicing, what you can do, for example, is during the day, pay attention to the things that you see around you, the smells that you have, everything that you touch, that you really feel it, that you're conscious of it, you're aware of it. And also your what else is there, grounding, you know, when you're with your feet on the ground, where you're walking. So let's say that you have a day you have to go to work, then obviously you know, you do your automatic thing, you get dressed, you get your keys, you get out of the house, and you get in your car and you go wherever your job is. And we do this all on autopilot. Now, if we do not do this on autopilot and we start actually paying attention to what we do, that is a form of meditation. And this is very important when you practice this. So in that way, you're already practicing meditation. Therefore, you do not need time to sit in lotus. What you want to do is all day long, try to be as present as you can with everything that you do. Now, many people are, for example, they are saying, I didn't sleep well because you know, I was lying in bed. Hey Neo, good to see you. And Cat Spotter. And many times many people are in bed and they're like, oh, I couldn't sleep because, you know, my thoughts were wandering. Well, first of all, that means you are actually listening to your thoughts instead of observing them. And and so what you want to do is you want to you know, start uh paying attention at that moment when you're in bed to your breathing, your body. Try to feel whatever is going on in your body. If we do not meditate regular, then this is also why and how we, for example, do not spot illnesses coming until we are really ill. That's when we actually start feeling it. And so, in order for us to be more aware of our bodies and what's going on there, we want to be able to spot it right away. And by being in the now, by practicing constantly this type of thing, by being in now, you start to actually paying attention to, first of all, everything around you. Now, when you're in bed and you're at home alone on the couch, whatever, and your mind starts wandering and you start listening to that, which you can actually do also while you're busy with whatever you do in the house, everything on autopilot. That's usually when we're in our brains. We are busy with our minds and all these thoughts that pass by. And most of the time, we're not even aware what most of these thoughts are, but yet, uh, many times they are negative, they are self-talk, right? The monkey brain, as we call them. And Kathy, hi, good to see you. You say, my mind is on everything, my reality, my dreams, the future, how people live in other poorer countries. Yes, that's a thing that we usually do. And we are usually also thinking in the past or in the future. What am I going to do next week? What am I going to do tomorrow? Oh, later I have this and this appointment. So those are practical things that you obviously need to think about only when you need them. Therefore, it's very important that we start learning to only using our brain and our thoughts when we really need it, and not randomly all day long. So that is the purpose of meditation. When you learn to meditate, this is when you actually start learning to be in the present. You automatically start learning to be more aware of your surroundings, about your smells, your everything that you feel, but also where you've been, who you talk to. You observe the person, you actually listen to them, you look at them, that a week later you can actually remember what color eyes the person had, what their name were, and all those sort of things. So that is what you get when you practice meditation. Now, so importantly is that you become the captain of your body and your mind instead of the other way around, because usually we are controlled by our minds instead of the other way around. And obviously we need a brain, but we use it we use it in the wrong way. We use it in a way that is not benefiting us. And so how can you start practicing this? We can start practicing this by grounding yourself. So for example, the first thing you do in the morning when you wake up, uh, start feeling your body. Start, as soon as you touch your feet on the ground, start feeling your feet on the ground. um, Try to check your breathing during the day. How many times are we busy and we're thinking about something, or you're busy with something and you hold your breath? It's an automatic thing we do. While essentially we should be actually breathing constantly. And yet, especially when there's a lot of stress, we tend to hold our breath, or we tend to breathe way too high. So being practicing this more and more, you start to actually pay attention constantly to what's going on. Now, the deeper version of going into meditation is when you do the conscious meditation, where you sit on the ground, you're going to close your eyes and you do a body scan. Now, what's a body scan? Body scan is checking your whole body, how it feels, what's going on, how am I breathing. Start with your feet, and go your way up to your body, and just check what parts of your body are tight and stressed. And so that is a more deeper way of meditating, because you do that consciously. You're going to sit for it specifically. So that's a different way. But in order to start, like for beginners, and those that actually say, oh, I don't have time for meditation, for them, it would be the best way to start is by saying, okay, I'm going to pay attention all day to what I do. And obviously that's very difficult in the beginning. So every time you find yourself not paying attention to everything you do, you see around you, you smell, you hear, uh, take yourself back in that moment, try to practice it just for one day. Tell yourself one day to do this for yourself. And hang on, I'm going to, for a second, mute myself and just clean my nose because I haven't driven. I'm so sorry for that. Seriously, I wasn't expecting that. But hey Nat Handy, good to see you. Even paying attention to your thoughts really helps. Absolutely, that's another thing. How I started, and this is very interesting, and I would recommend everybody to try. Try just for one day to tell yourself, today I'm going to monitor my thoughts. I want to know how often I'm actually thinking negative, whether that is towards others or yourself. And try to monitor for yourself a whole day. Even although during the day you might actually forget, that you are supposed to monitor yourself. But as soon as you remember again, make sure you stay there and keep doing it. And the more often you do it, the more you will become aware, and the more you notice that you're not paying attention to your thoughts. And so this is how I started. And when I did this for the first time, I was totally shocked. I had like at least 50 negative feelings within 5 minutes, or thoughts, I mean. So that shocked the hell out of me. And the more I got shocked, the more I wanted to pay attention to it. And on top of that, as soon as you start doing that and you notice it, make sure that with each negative thought that you have, put a positive thought, uh, you know, in return for it. So when you do that, you start to also train yourself to think more positive. And the more you do this, the more you become aware, and the more you start also feeling in your body, and everything changes in your body when you start to replace it with positive. Thank you, Net Handy. I couldn't find the word replace it for a positive thought. And this is where I started before I even started meditating. But that set me on a path to because I was so shocked about it that I started doing it for a whole week, and I kept replacing the negative thought with a positive one. And that's when I thought, if I do this in my brain constantly, and I'm not even aware of that, what else am I not aware of? And so this is when I started paying attention and I started meditating. And not so much in the beginning the way that I did Lotus and all that, because that is more, I would say, that is where you actually consciously start yourself training, right? So the fact that people say, oh, I don't have time to meditate, or I cannot meditate, is because it is a training, just like everything else. But we trained ourselves from young age to think negative about ourselves, to not pay attention, and to go on autopilot all the time. And that is actually unnatural. What should be natural is that we are constantly in the present. And the whole reason that we're not in the present is because we're programmed, right? And it's very convenient for, the powers that be, that we are not in the present, because that means we are not registering what we're actually doing. We're not registering anything around us, our surroundings, people that we talk to. Everything is quick. Just like we have the internet now, we have social media, we're constantly distracted. And even online, while we're out of our brains, our monkey brain, we're still actually in it. But because your eyes are occupied with whatever you see, you know, you're still not paying attention to your thoughts at that moment. So either way, it's always wrong not to be, or wrong, wait, it's always like unbeneficial when you are, you know, not in the now. And so, lucky me, I've never been programmable. Well, you know, programming can be deeper than we think, because every time I think, oh, now I'm awake, nope, you know, there is so much to learn still. We can never learn enough. And I remember when I wanted to know more about meditation, all I found was video about meditation. Oh, you know, go meditate, but nobody explains you why should we meditate. You know, what's the point? What's the benefit of it? And so when I started monitoring my thoughts at first, and I was so shocked. Only later then did I realize that when what meditation is that you actually not only monitor your negative thoughts, etc. No, now you also monitor your monitoring your body, your surroundings, and everything you do during the day. Then there is another level up. This is obviously where we consciously start meditating. We take, say, 20 minutes a day to actually meditate. Now, then what you do the same things, but you're already trained to stop that thoughts. And even if you have the thoughts, all you do is observe them, but you do not, you know, give them any worth. Like if you know, you can sit, we always have thoughts in our minds. It doesn't matter. We're thinking in the past or in the future. When you do that, and you only observe it and not make it, give it a value or judge it, then the thoughts will go, they will pass. So for people that cannot sleep and that cannot, you know, because they're constantly in their minds worrying about the day after or whatever problems they have, that means, first of all, you cannot sleep because of that, but at the same time, it doesn't solve your problem at that moment, no matter how long you're going to think about it. So at the end of the day, it's a waste of time, isn't it? And so how can you stop yourself from doing that while you're in bed? um, when you're in bed, you could actually start scanning your body and, you know, and make your whole body relax. Start at your feet, feel them and make them loose and just breathe in it. And then you go up towards your knees and you go further up. And once you're somewhere around your belly, check if your legs are still completely relaxed. If not, start over again. Now, that is where you start to become aware of your body. By the time you're at the top of your head and everything is relaxed, you will actually automatically fall asleep, because clearly it's probably 2 a.m. at night and you are still thinking, but in reality you're exhausted, so you will probably fall asleep before you even arrive at the top. Because, you know, in the beginning especially, I remember when doing that, I constantly had to start over again, because by the time I was at my belly, I felt my legs already tensing up again, so I had to start over again. And soon enough, once you do that, you know, you learn how to relax your body, but also how to listen to your body. The breathing is very important too. Pay attention to your breathing, because if you're going to breathe through your body, and I mean not just simple breathing, but literally through your whole body, you know, then you start feel everything tingling. Say that you have a pain, you can actually breathe there, and by doing that you actually visualize it. So when you breathe in, you visualize where your breath is going, because everywhere there is oxygen, things will heal. Because, you know, this is how it works in the body. This is why oxygen is so important in our bodies. This is why, for example, people that take a hyperbaric chamber, which is you know, this oxygen tank where you go in, you get pure oxygen in. This is why people heal. The scars get healed, your organs get healed, the diseases, etc. And so this is why oxygen is very, very important for the body. So while you're at it, start breathing in it. Say you have pain in your knees, just think about, focus on the pain, start breathing in and just visualize your breath going there. So that is also a form of meditation. I saw a question from somebody. Hey, Lazarus James, mental discipline is a lost part of our upbringing. That is so true. You know, we literally lost that. It's actually kind of ridiculous, the fact that I have to explain all this, even to myself, right? Because this is how everybody should be living. This is what our purity is. This is what our biggest power is. If you, once you know what it means to be in the now constantly, life is bliss. And because there is no past, there is no future, there is only now. And that's when you observe everything. Patricia is asking, so should you journal it too when you're done meditating? You can if you want. Not everybody needs to do that, but if you want to, what you might want to journal is when you do the exercise by monitoring your negative thoughts, for example. Start writing down what are your negative thoughts about yourself, for example, or even about others, and why are you judging it? You know, question yourself. I always say, always ask why questions. That's what I do all day long, to myself, to everything, even with research. I always ask myself why. And until I don't have an answer to that, I'm going to start digging. And this is how you dig into rabbit holes. And you yourself are a rabbit hole, because when you have all these thoughts and you've never done this before, right? Then, and you start noticing all the negative thoughts about yourself, start questioning, why do I have this thought about myself? Why do I think this or that about myself? And that is how you can actually find, you know, where you learned these behavior, and that it doesn't have to be per se that negative, but because if we can think of ourselves that negative, we can think about of ourselves also positive. And you know, everything, a thought is energy, words are energy. So even your own thoughts towards yourself are energy, and therefore you create um, your reality in that way. If you constantly think negative about yourself, consciously or subconsciously, you know, you're still telling yourself something, and your body will react to that. So, and this is why fear is so powerful for, you know, the powers that be. um I saw something else. I've read, hey, path of most resistance. I have read repeatedly that you should meditate on an empty stomach, but when I do this, I spend the whole time thinking about what I want to eat when I'm done meditating. Well, when you're done meditating, then it's good. I don't believe really in that. I think you can meditate always, and even if you don't, I don't think you have to meditate on an empty stomach unless you want to be a, you know, a professional lama in Tibet. But we're talking the basics here. So, you know, I wouldn't make it too difficult for yourself in the beginning. A body scan, I can never finish, fall asleep. Well, that's good, Thea. If you cannot finish, well, that is if you are doing it when you're in bed, right? And you cannot sleep. But if you're going to do a body scan during the day, it's very important you stay awake. Same when you meditate. Some people fall asleep during meditation. It means you're not doing your meditation well, because you're not paying attention. And with paying attention to the now, what is happening with your body, you're still using your brain for it, right? Um, Let me see. This is the same process of self-hypnosis or putting yourself under. Yes, that is true, Sudabok, but it's the theta state, right? So I had theta healing. So what you get in this state and you start getting rid of trauma, and you do this while being conscious in the theta state. And I believe the theta state is also the state where you right before you fall asleep. Um, and the next state is, oh gosh, I don't even know anymore. Let me see. I'm just going through the chat and see if I didn't miss any questions. Tessa is saying the meditation hunger pangs. I don't feel them when I meditate. Well, if you're really focused on meditation or focused on whatever you're doing during the day, you know, where you walk, what you smell, what you feel, what you see around you, you're not busy with hunger, right? Oh, Kathy, you're working with horses. Well, yeah, then you learn a lot. I had actually equine therapy, and I was scared for horses. And I had the therapy because horses, you learn a lot about yourself. And you know, like in that movie with Sandra Bullock, 28 Days, where she's an alcoholic, and then she goes into rehab, and you know, and then she needs to uh, put the horse's feet up. I didn't do that, but I got rid of my fear for horses, and I learned the intense connection you can have with a horse. And it's amazing. You have to be in the now in order to work with horses. And this is why horses are great for therapy. Uh, Exactly, Sudabok. If you, he says, turns out it's not your consciously created thought, then I just watch it pass by like watching a cloud. Indeed, that's how you do it. So if you have thoughts during meditation or being in the now and present, even if you have the thoughts, don't pay attention. Well, you can observe it, but let them pass like a cloud. Do not give it a meaning. Do not judge it. Do not, uh, you know, give it a value. That is what it's about. Do not give, and it's not an easy one. You have to train it. This is why, you know, a meditation is training, just like sports is. It's just, I think if you want to be in the now, and if you learn the benefits of it, which is it's like, okay, so if you go to the gym, right, we already know what the benefits are from sports. You get a great body and all that. So but you know, we're still too lazy to go to the gym. But with meditation, it's a lot easier to actually practice, because you can do it anywhere, anytime during the day, especially in the beginning. You know, it's just once you do that, and once you start paying attention to these things, just normal daily things that you're doing, and being present, and do not let yourself be you know, distracted by the thoughts, that's when you're actually meditating. So and that's when you start practicing. So then later, when you want to meditate like properly, it's a lot easier to get into that, because you are already trained. And the more you do it, the more you become aware automatically without meditation. Now, this is the benefit. When you learn meditation, when you do it, when you are starting to become aware and be living in the now, you start to get the benefits of it. And what are the benefits? That you go even into awareness on autopilot. So when you walk somewhere, you immediately, you know, notice your surroundings. You immediately, when you talk to somebody, you are busy with who is the person I'm talking to, what's their body language, what color eyes do they have, or whatever, or even listen to their conversation without that constant passing of your own mind. The same when you're in your car, we can do that on autopilot, but then you will actually notice what places you pass, who is on the road with me, you pay more attention to your surroundings. Is that beneficial? Absolutely, because that way you will actually start to notice signs, things that, how we all see these numbers over and over again. And people are like, why do I see these numbers constantly? Because you're starting to become aware. Actually, I do think that most people start seeing them when they, pay attention. We know it all in a form, right? So let's say that, when you were younger, you had this boyfriend, and this boyfriend had a certain car, and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere, right? It's kind of the same thing. So you are aware of that thing. But what if you can be aware of everything constantly? And then you start to learn also with your body by doing the body scan, by constantly going through, paying attention to your body. When you get ill or when you have diseases or pains or whatever, you start to notice it way before. So most people don't notice it because they are already very sick before they even notice it. This is why your body is screaming pain with pain. They try, your body is trying to get your attention, right? But you can be way ahead of that. And so that way you can tackle diseases and stuff before they become worse. And so, yeah. Um, Let me see if there's people. Tessa said, glad I'm not the only one who goes off of body language. I definitely do. This is actually how you also train your intuition. So when you're being in the now, you do not have time anymore to be busy with the autopilot, with the passing thoughts. Imagine how much stuff we miss. And imagine how much stuff there is that you can actually learn being in the now and being present. What you do learn is you start noticing your intuition, how strong it is. You start to notice things that are happening to you, you encounter, because you are aware, you are present. And so all these things are signs that can give you something where you can make a choice. You know how we make choices. I mean, our whole lives is made of choices, right? All day long. And so when you're in the now, your choices will become much more conscious, and this is how you start walking a better path, how your life is getting more happy and easier, because your intuition start working better. Once your intuition start working better, you want to meditate even more, because then you learn that your intuition is actually telling you more truth than your brain does. you know I have actually a postcard in my toilet hanging. It says, don't believe everything you think. And that's the problem with all of us. Hi, Dan Arky. Good to see you. And Hermano Branco, good to see you, neighbor from Belgium. Um, yes, I wanted to say, oh, thank you so much, Brooklyn. I forgot to say, I have my friend's website in the description. He makes these awesome belts with in this for the movement and whatever, on request, custom made. Here in Amsterdam, he's Danish, and he's also very sick. All he can do is work with his hands and make leather goods. This is why I posted his link in the description. If anybody wants to check out his work, he is very good at what he does. So it's always great. Thank you, Christina Love, for your super chat. And now I see now also the chat from from YouTube, and in my restream chat, I see Lemon character doing shoulder shimmy dance moves. You see now why I didn't get it last time when I read it. And thank you, Sudebok, for your sticker chat there, super chat. Let me see. Yes, Branco, body language is huge. Eyes are key. True. This is how I learn to observe people as well. I observe a lot, and that is because I'm in the now. And this is how I get to know people, by observing the eyes. You start to learn body language. You start to learn how somebody looks out of their eyes. You start to learn if somebody is good or not. And this is where your intuition comes in. That's the benefit of learning to meditate. You have a power when you are in the now, when you are in the present, that nobody has, because everybody's always distracted with everything on autopilot. This is why we do not pay attention to what is really happening, who we can trust, who we talk to. And once you start learning this in normal life, you actually start doing this as well without even seeing a person. Like I have. I can chat with people, I can talk with them, and I can read them purely with my intuition. And it's amazing, and it's very, very powerful. This is why meditation is very important. And all the things you can benefit of meditation is, things that are the stuff that we have to be busy with now, because those are essential, you know. Let me see. The windows to the soul. That's what they are, James. They are windows to the soul, the eyes. And it's so true. I always look in the eyes to see if somebody is of a good heart. And you can see it instantly if you train it, right? So let me see. Are there people that have any questions? Because I'm trying to obviously, there are many people that will watch this afterwards when they want to learn about the basics, because you know what, there are plenty of videos around that tell you about meditation, guided meditations. And guided meditations is another one that is great to start learning, but do not start depending on them, because otherwise you depend on the voice that tells you what to do. At a certain point you need to have to, because you want to scan your own things, the things that you want to learn. And so if you want to, that gut feeling, when you want to start learning to listen to that, focus on that, and do it more and more. And before you know it, you start trusting it more than whatever your brain is telling you. And it's very difficult for somebody that never meditates or is never in the now, always on autopilot. You will notice that they will make rather rational choices than with their gut. And that is always a 50-50% chance, okay, you use your logic, right? But when I listen, since I listen with and make choices with my intuition, I've never been wrong. Really, never. So I never made the wrong choices. And if we make the wrong choices, probably there's a lesson to learn too. Music for meditation, that's another one. Many people can listen to music. I prefer actually without music, because what you tend to do, what I've noticed for myself, and it's not for everybody, what I notice for myself when I do meditation with music is that as soon you stop the music, somehow that whole vibe is gone too. And so that feeling of relaxed, being the moment that you're relaxed and you're so in the now, stops when I stop the music. So I started doing it just with natural surroundings. It doesn't matter if there's an annoying car outside, somebody honking, it doesn't matter. It's the best practice ever, because that's where you start, uh, teaching yourself to tune it out, and be in your body, and be, tune things out. This is why I'm now able to be somewhere and tune everything out. Obviously, you do not want to do that always, but you want to be able to do it, right? So the moment you're annoyed with noises is because you let it get to you. And that means you're not the captain of your brain, you know? Obviously, that doesn't always work, because we always have a day that we're not, comfortable in our skin or whatever. But overall, you should be able to tune out anything annoying around you. Once you meditate, there's another benefit, because you are aware, and you can say to yourself, am I going to pay attention to this, or am I going to tune it out and focus on something else, what I'm busy with? And so then it becomes white noise, right? And detox, what was this? And that is why a detox is good. Less density, more awareness, intuition uh, lives in the solar plexus. True, Brooklyn, which is the physical body's gastro highway. A detox will help with the intuition. So true. That's also where when I started, and this is where the colon cleanse comes in again. All your brain hormones are made in the gut. If your gut is not clean, you will have problems, emotional problems, and because those hormones don't get to your brain in a healthy way, or they are blocked by whatever is going on in your gut. Therefore, a colon cleanse is so important, because you will feel like the whole world falls off of you if you've never done it. You feel like so much lighter, you feel much happier, and that's when you notice how connected our whole body is with our well-being. So thank you for that one, Brooklyn Way, because so true. uh, I think you get even better at being in the now when you detox. And I mean a colon cleanse, the gut is one of the most, and we're not taught this anywhere. Why? Because, the medical industry needs money. So it's very important to pay attention to that. Um, the mind finding for an excuse is not meditate. The mind is fighting for an excuse to not meditate. Yes, it can get crazy in there at times. A.K. Alan Watts, the monkey mind. It's so true, because all we have to do is literally pay attention. That's when we're actually already meditating. That's already a form of meditation. The moment that you say, I don't have time for meditation, the moment that you actually think that, you could be actually meditating. you know Funny, right? And it's only beneficial, and you only notice the benefits when you start doing it. Just like you notice the benefit when you go to the gym, it's just less harder than going to the gym, because literally sometimes we do want to torture ourselves with thoughts with the future, because, oh, if I'm not going to worry, then the world is going to fall down. Or if I'm not going to start thinking about all the problems that I have and how to solve them, then I cannot solve them. Well, you won't solve them in any case. You will actually more likely solve them when you are in the present, because you are way more capable to, first of all, process whatever is going on. And you're also more capable of making the right choices in the problems that you have. So there, problem solved again through meditation. But it's a matter of teaching yourself and keep practicing with a simple thing while doing the dishes. Do you like doing the dishes? Do you like thinking about what happened yesterday or what's going to happen next week when you do the dishes? Or you can be in the present moment, feel your feet on the ground, Feel the texture of the plates that you have in your hands. Okay, most people have dishwashers. I don't, because literally I use every chore in the house as a meditation, even vacuum cleaning. It's amazing. Once you start doing that, the house is clean before you know it, and you're still in the now, you know? Um, Martial arts are channel practice which regulates the prana, and the prana's energy, their life force, you have life energy, which steers the mind. I feel like those practices are a gateway to multidimensional understanding. It's true. Well, that's more advanced, obviously, Brooklyn Way, but when and for the most more advanced meditations, there are so many videos about it, and but what you eventually can accomplish is that you are literally uh, have a power within that you have never imagined you have, and your intuition becomes stronger, your choices become better, your mood becomes better because you notice that you are having negative thoughts, so you start to replace them with positive thoughts. When you replace them with positive thoughts, you automatically get more confidence in yourself, because self-love is another one that is so important, you know. You can also just go to, if you have dogs and you go walk your dog, just, breathe in the air, look around you, be in the nature, feel your feet on the ground. Nature is a very good way to meditate while you're in nature. And bare feet, go bare feet. If it's warm weather, wherever, go bare feet. That's a good way of grounding. Imagine yourself having roots coming out of your feet that are going into the earth. So you're grounding it that way, and you're much more firm on the ground. There are many exercises actually where you can test if you are stable, right? It's when when you're having your feet firmly on the ground, you are much more aware. And that sounds really weird, but it's true. So let me see. Cleaning is my meditation. Yes, my too, Chrissy. And yeah, Christina Love, Colin Clance, 100%. It's so true. I mean, I was blown away when I did it. And I did it just because I had constant problems with constipation. That's where it started, right? And I was like, maybe I should do that, right? So I do this professional Colin Cleanse. And after the third session, I started crying and crying, and I didn't understand, because it was like the whole world fell out of me. I had like constant anxiety. It was like gone for 70%. So when that happened, I could not believe it. And that's when I started researching, funny enough. And on top of that, I lost weight, So I learned many things by accident, or because I started them for another reason, and I got so much more benefit out of it than I expected. And and so yeah, Chris, I need a tutor. I'm so unaware. Well, you don't need a tutor. How much do you need to just be present? Just like I said, try to be aware. Just start there. With everything you do right now, the moment you're typing, be aware that you're touching your fingers with the keys with your fingers. Try and do that. That's where it starts. And it's really weird to do that because we do everything on autopilot, but it's a form of meditation. Hello, Laura. Good to see you. Yes, and also it's a choice you make, right? So do you want to learn it? Do you want to feel be happier? Do you want to be more aware? Do you want to have all the benefits of it? Then it's only a matter of, first of all, make the choice. Everything is a choice. You are not a victim, right? You are your own master, your own captain. Therefore, you can make the choice. If you want it, you tell yourself, this is what I want to do. I'm going to start. Start small, right? If you constantly find yourself for yourself excuses, then it's very likely you really don't want to do it, right? Where there's a will, there's a way, and there's nothing easier to learn than this, really, because I'm literally giving the Sesame Street version here. This is not like the version that is like very advanced, right? This is not what many other people do that have their 20-minute hour or an hour a day meditation where they literally sit in a lotus and do the whole thing. No, we're talking just starting to be aware of everything you do. Be in the now and ignore or observe rather your feelings and your thoughts, but do not try not to be your feelings and your thoughts. Everything is a choice. Now, for those that want to start practicing, for example, just one day, today, tonight, before you go to sleep, tell yourself tomorrow, all day long, I decide to monitor my thoughts all day long. And I want to be, so you set the intent, very important. When you set the intent, then the next morning you wake up, tomorrow morning you wake up and you tell yourself, today I'm going to monitor my thoughts. I want to know how often I actually think negative. Now, obviously, there will be moments in the day, many moments in the day, you forget about it. But try to get yourself to remember that you were going to do this. This is why I'm telling you to start in the evening, set the intention for tomorrow. When you wake up, set the intention for the day again. And that's when you will be more aware of it. And try to, once you make the choice, you will remember, you know? And try to check with yourself. You're going to be shocked how often you think negative. It's really that one opened my eyes incredibly. And do not forget to instantly replace it with a positive thought every single time. It doesn't matter if in 1 minute you have 50 negative thoughts, because our thoughts go quick, right? Do it. In the beginning, it's a lot, but the more you do it, within, if you after a day, and then you're going to decide, oh, now I'm going to do it 2 days, then you're going to decide to do it for a week. And after that week, you will see, you will pay attention to it, you will constantly notice it without even setting the attention to do it. The moment you think negative, you notice it. You're like, whoa, I'm doing it again. Okay, putting a positive thought, replace it with a positive thought. And because you replace it every single time with a positive thought, you start training yourself to do this. And before you know it, all you do is thinking positive, you know? And also for me, I sometimes I have these, I monitor myself constantly. So I do that. And then when I notice I'm doing it too often again, I just train myself again, so I'm being aware of it. But I do not have to train it extensively like you do in the beginning. It's just the beginning where you have to start. And the start is always the most difficult. And everything starts with a choice. Literally, everything starts with a choice. And I always say you do not have to see the whole staircase in order to make the first step, right? I turned all the feeling stuff off for many years. Oh gosh, well, we can shake hands with that because I did that too. I had two default feelings, anger and anxiety. That was pretty much my default. So now I know a lot more, but that is because I chose to do it differently. So it's small steps. Start with small steps, Chris, because if you do not start with a small step, you won't reach any step, right? Um, Tessa, how do you suggest we deal with blockages that will come up from those who have been meditating for a while? Yes, well, that is where I put in, well, it depends kind of what kind of blockages. Well, any blockage, do you mean a block in that you have a certain thought that comes back over and over and over again? Because it depends on the block that you have. But what I would say is, okay, start with questioning. Where does this block come from? What do I feel? What do I think when this block happens? Okay, so your heart races to the point I can't breathe. That's very interesting, because I wonder, does this happen automatically, or what triggers it? That would be my question to ask for myself. What does this, what triggers that moment? Because even if I had like massive panic attacks always, and I would think to myself, okay, what triggered it? Well, usually because my body is so trained to actually go into panic in certain situations. But a couple of weeks ago, I started thinking, well, no, actually a few months now, I started thinking back, what happens really when I have a panic attack before that? And I noticed, and I thought it was part of the panic attack, and actually it was not. What I started doing was I dissociate. I started, and that's a form of PTSD. So what I did is that right before I had the panic attack, I would go in well, how you call that? Derealization. So depersonalization. I would tune out. And that triggered the panic attack. And when I learned about it, I was like, oh my gosh, I always thought this was part of the panic attack. But no, what it is that because I had this at a young age, I would dissociate, which then triggered panic attacks. But later, the panic attacks triggered dissociation. So you get a vicious circle. And so you need to figure out what is happening right before that happens, Tessa. And when you figure that out, when you have a little answer to that, you can work further. Just start digging, just like we do with Q drops, right? With research. Start digging as deep as you can. Start to remember every little small answer you have. Anything that you can find is an answer, and you can work with. And sometimes, many people can have this. I remember having this as well in the beginning when I started meditating, is because all of a sudden I felt really uncomfortable being aware and being in the now. And I didn't understand what was going on. And I've noticed that there was this scary feeling about being in the now and being aware of myself, because I still had so much trauma to process. And so it was scary to actually realize being me, because remember, we are still, if we haven't processed certain traumas, certain emotions, certain things, grief, these things, you will encounter blocks usually, because they come to the surface because you become more aware, and you become more aware of you. You usually, this is why we are on autopilot most of the time. Many people are, because they literally are walking away from that, what is in their subconscious mind, constantly distracting us from whatever is in the subconscious mind. So we're distracting ourselves, right? People, oh, I'm so stressed. Oh, there's this and that, but I keep myself busy with work. Well, every trauma, every problem comes back like a boomerang. Sooner or later, you have to deal with it. You may as well deal with it now. Kathy, I can't imagine panic or anxiety attacks. Well, lucky you. I mean, literally, that is the most horrible thing, I think. That, to me, it was like terror. It's pure terror when I have it. Yes, Yolanda, that's a good one. So that is a part of it, letting go, because what you do when you are in the now and when you are aware is what you do is letting go, and you're letting go of control. Very good. You and we are made for wanting control. We always want control over everything. We even want to have control over our everything, our destiny, our future, even over our past. That's already in the past, right? So it's letting go of control that is doing this indeed. Thank you, Yolanda, for that one. um, and letting go of control is a scary one, because we do not realize it, but pretty much everybody is trying to have some sort of control over ourselves, but also over others and things and problems. And if you realize, once you realize you have no control over anything but your own well being, you have to see how quick you start actually wanting to meditate, because that's your start on your way to healing, to wellness. This is why meditation is often uh, something that people resist, because subconsciously they already know they will encounter themselves. So it's also a scary thing. It's true. However, what's your other choice? If you're going to encounter yourself, you're going to learn more. If you're going to learn more, you become a better person. You become a better person for yourself, first and foremost. And and the next step there is confidence. This is why we end up in jobs we don't like, relationships that are not good for us, people pleasing, name it. Every single thing that goes wrong in our lives is usually due to a fear, uh, due to something you want to control. And if you cannot control it, you know, you become the negative version of yourself without even knowing it. And letting go, if you learn to let go of control and to actually be, and not having any blocks anymore, then you can say you're pretty accomplished, because nobody can take anything away. If you know that you have no control, life comes as it is. But by being in the now, you actually have the now. And the now is all that matters, because once you have the now, you can make way better choices. Yes, choices instead of innate reactions. You gain control of your SNS, sympathies, nervous system. That is it. It's a whole physical process as well. Being, you know, being yourself and being uh, sympathetic. Yes. Oh, yeah. The SNS, the sympathetic nervous system. That's what it's about. And so, don't be scared if you start really meditating that get anxiety or feel it. It's the same. Try to be in complete silence only in your house. What you're going to do? Either you're going to be in your mind constantly thinking. Why you're doing that? Because you want to run away from the silence that you hear. It's always a form of control you want to have. You know, it's and control is fear based. There's only two real emotions, and that is fear and love. Everything we do, every choice we make, every action we do, they always come from two feelings only, either fear or love. And don't think that I don't do that anymore, things out of fear. Of course I do. I'm still a work in progress, like we all are and will always be, you know. I don't know why I don't see Happy Chance in the Restream chat, but I do see you in the YouTube chat now. Um, when I found out that I was disappointed in myself or someone else seemed to be, that I turned anger on me. That was the suicidal cycle I experienced since age 10. Oh, yes, I know that one. They gave me a clarity to stop the depressive spirals. It's true because, we always tell ourselves something, but remember, they all start at young age. And, at a certain point, you realize I'm doing this my whole life. And this is also when digging into yourself becomes a bit of a longer task, because I remember when I started digging, I was already in I was like around 40. And so I was like, okay, so I feel angry. Why do I feel angry? Well, because this and this happens. Well, why does that make me angry? Well, because I want to control. Why do I want to control? And I had to dig deep. And then I thought, oh, so that's the answer. I could actually go deeper and deeper. And before I knew it, I ended up in what I learned as a young girl, you know, and where I had a certain belief system. And that's where all these feelings came from. I just had to, how we build it up as a self-defense in our adult lives. That's also how we break them down again, by digging into it, and the weirdest behavior patterns that we have. Once you start digging in them, keep questioning yourselves, these why questions, then eventually, usually we always wind up at the thought, I'm not good enough. That's probably the thought that most of us have as people, because that's what we learn. This is where our, monkey brain comes from. Because once you become aware of how often you think negative of yourself, you won't be surprised why you have no self-worth. Because many people have no idea how often they do it, but once they do, that they're like, no wonder I have no self-worth, because I'm telling myself all day long all these negative things, even on autopilot. It's very painful, Ursula, to dig deep, but it's so worth it. Absolutely. I mean, look at me. Look at me 10 years ago. If you've seen my transformation video 10 years ago, I was still a wreck compared to today. And obviously, I learned a lot. And then at a certain point, many things you take with you that you learned over the other years and all that, and everything becomes one big picture. And that's when you start putting all these puzzle pieces together, and then it can go very fast. But you have to start. If you do not start, it can take a long time before you get there. Handy. And depending on what you have been through to date since birth, it's definitely a hard one. It's interesting because, yeah, we can, we can have all sorts of self-beliefs, belief systems that we need to get rid of, and they usually come from young age. And we convinced ourselves, and survival mode is another one, where we put ourselves into certain positions, or have certain excuses and thoughts and behaviors that can come from way down somewhere, and we don't even realize it, until we start digging into it. Tria, hello. You had a mental breakdown a year ago. My anxiety, depression was sky high. Yeah, all over bad abuse I suffered as a child. This month I found meditation, and it has made me feel more at peace and love myself. Very, very good. And that only in such a short time. This was a year ago for you, and now you have already peace and love with yourself. So that's how quick it can go. It's true. Meditation, being aware, being in the now, will think certain things up to the surface, yes, but you are also way more efficient in actually solving them, because at the same time that you're in the now and you learn being in the now, um, you learn to go back there and letting go of all that control when you get comfortable with it. And that's when you actually deal with all these problems and traumas, and you start to become much more at peace. And of course, there's moments that we get into our egos, or uh, for me it can be hormonal, it can be any excuse you want. But when things happen to me, I always try to be aware. I always try to get back to where I want to be, which is my total happy self all day long, thinking positive, being friendly with people, not being all overreactive with things. And and usually things that upset a lot of people these days when it comes to politics, I'm like, yeah, whatever, I have no control over it. I only have control over myself. And this is also where another things come in, is that we are our own saviors. So if we do not work on ourselves, if we not start being present and being aware of what's going on and letting go of control, we will not solve the world problems. But we will if we actually are, because then uh, together we can put out these positive thoughts, because thoughts are still energy. And as a collective consciousness, we can actually make the change. And it has been proven, 100 people meditating in a place where there is, for example, war, it changes instantly the whole vibration in that place. And there is less criminality, there is less death, there is less violence, and only because 100 people meditate on peace. Why is that? It's because it's called the collective consciousness, the energies. If you know that we have an aura field, an energy field around us that has a span of 3 meters, and we're all together in one room, and say that we're like half of them, now a little bit, 51% is depressed, I can tell you that the other 49% will start feeling the same depressive feelings as the other 51 feels. And you don't even need the 51, because um, positive vibrations, love, has a way stronger field and a way stronger uh, output than negativity. So this is why meditating for peace, you need a lot less people in order to get peace. So and this is why when you get in a room also where like a group of people is like really positive and laughing and having so much fun, it's what you call it, it's it, no, I'm not calling it addicting, it's contagious. That's what you call it, right? It's contagious. And why do we call it contagious? Think about that one. We call it contagious because you feel it, and you can feel it from afar, from a distance, you know. And also, if many people are close together, that energy field becomes bigger and bigger when you do it with a group, and that can reach like really far. This is why it can reach a whole region. So imagine if we in the world, this is why we have the mass meditations, you see, because they work. Actually, during the 9/11, they have these monitors where you can register the energy of people around the world. They have it around the world. So they could monitor what happened on 9/11 and how the world felt. And it was pure anxiety over the whole world. Now, when there is all fear and anxiety, that's exactly what the powers that be are feeding off. This is why we have the whole COVID scare and all that, right? And this is why it's not good to have that fear. Same with your diseases. If you're afraid of it, the whole the oh, I think I have cancer. Well, if you think it long enough, you will get it actually, because it's literally your thoughts and energy that create it as well. You know, Oh, yes, they are monitoring our moods. There's uh, actually, Whitehead talks about that. He gave that tool to us in the beginning. It's the OSINT. It's a tool where you can look up um, the moods on Twitter. And so, based on what on Twitter happens, everybody's on Twitter. You can see actually how many are positive and how many are negative. Now, if they can monitor that, and you can see exactly where a tweet comes from, where in the world it's more positive and negative, but you will see that there are days everything is negative or everything is positive. So yeah, I would love to put that actually into the description, but I don't have it now, but I will definitely share this. Well, maybe I can find it quickly, and I will show you what that looks like. Where's my browser? I don't have it on, do I? Well, no. You know what? I'm going to put it in the description when I'm done with this live stream. And you will find that link in the description on YouTube. I put the link in where you can look at Twitter all over the world, what the mood is of people. And if you can, if everybody, if people, powers that be, can monitor that, all they need to do is throw out in the news certain things and make it even worse. They know exactly what everybody's talking about all over the world. You see how that works? And they can do it per country, they can do it per region. And this is how they pinpoint false flags, you know? This is how they pinpoint where to do what. That's just a little example, but I'm sure they have tools where they can monitor it way more detailed. So think about that one, right? So the more negative we are, the black pillars, the ones that are black pilled, they're not helping. They're making everything worse because it's energy, it's thoughts, it's messages being put out on the internet, and that is where you can spread it through energy. You know, this is how the deep state can actually react onto our moods. So, you know, the day of the inauguration, people were not that happy, and that's good for them. You know. So let me see. I've been yapping now for an hour and 20 minutes. And thank you, Brad. I'm trying to get a good handle on it, although English is is not my mother language, my original language, but I'm getting better at it. I'm trying not to repeat words like, you know, which I always do, or saying, and then when I look my videos back, I'm like, you know, but yeah, um, I like to, you know, give the simple version because it's always stunning to me how things are not explained in the simple way for those that begin. Because I had the same, everybody talking about meditation, meditation, and I was like, okay, fine, meditation, but nobody tells me the benefits. Why would I do it? You know, like going deep into those details. Um, so yeah, grounding important, and actually, this is your homework for you guys. I want you to take at least one day, all of you, one day this week before Thursday, one day to monitor your thoughts. And I'm going to check in with you guys on Thursday, and I want to do actually, I'm not going to have a guest. What I'm going to do with you guys, you're going to be here on 7 p.m. EST on Thursday, and I'm going to check with all of you how you experienced that day where you monitored your thoughts, and we're going to talk about it because I'm seriously curious what you're going to experience. For those that watch later, I hope you can participate in this, and then can be here on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I know there is now, wait, is it still 7 p.m. Eastern? Shoot, because the clock changed, daylight savings, right? So that means it's now what, 8 p.m. or is it 6 p.m. for you guys? Can you tell me? Because I forgot now. Can somebody tell me the EST time right now? I think I actually made a mistake. Okay, wait here. Homework. Choose one day this week between now and Thursday to monitor your thoughts. Meet us back here Thursday at 8 p.m. EST. Okay, so it's 8 p.m. then, right? Oh, thank you, Joanda and Brooklyn. Great. Okay, so I stream now at 8 p.m. EST. Oh, that's even better. That's why there are so many people today. Because usually it was 7 p.m., right? Yeah. So, yeah, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be here. And you guys tell me how you experienced it. For those that's going to watch the show later, I hope you're going to be there as well, because I definitely going to do a Q&A in the, in the chat. And that way we can interact. And maybe we can even do a call in. How about that? That would be cool. So with that, I think White Hat will go live in 35 minutes. And then on top of that, also Wednesday night True Reporting with Thomas, Nicole Frolic, and I am there as well. And we're talking more about healing and that sort of stuff. So that would be at 8 p.m. Eastern. So go check it out. I hope it's still at 8 p.m. Yeah, it must be, because so check it out on Wednesday if you like, and otherwise we see each other on Thursday. Now, let me get that chest again before I forget. Is White Hat already live? Oh, of course, because it's an hour later. Oh, man. Does it mean I need to now start an hour early? Ah, I forgot about that. All right, well, can't help it. It is what it is. So let me get to D Live quickly and empty that chest for whoever is there, and if there's actually something to give in a chat. Wait. Distribute. Yay, there we go. Open the chest. Oh, I didn't do my pirate. My pirate thingy. Yes, give White Hat my love and enjoy it. I will all see you on Thursday or hopefully on Wednesday with True Reporting. Thank you all. Have a great night. And see you all soon. Bye all. Peace out.